Stella, would you read the call?
Notice of public meeting of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville. Pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act, notice is hereby given that the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, in accordance with Article 5, Section 12 of the Charter of said city, will convene an executive session and regular meeting on Tuesday, April the 3rd, 2007, at 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. in the Commission Chambers on the second floor of the Brownsville City Hall Federal Building located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Cameron County, Texas. Executive session item A, discussion pursuant to section 551.072 of the Texas Government Code regarding real property. Item B, discussion pursuant to section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code regarding existing litigation styled Golden Spread versus City of Brownsville. Item number C, attorney consultation pursuant to section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code to provide advice and counsel in connection with legal status of proposed labor agreement between the City of Brownsville and the Brownsville Firefighters Association to include related grievances and claims affecting current negotiations.
Mayor Pro Tem, I so move we go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
This meeting is called to order. Apologize for starting a bit late. Executive session ran a little over this evening. If everybody would please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, let's see. Oh, we've got a lot of special kids with us today. Joining us from the Incarnate Word Academy Junior Girl Scouts Troop 117, Troop Leader Nelda Trevino. We have with us Ariana Hernandez, Mariana Alvarado, Valeria Garza, Andrea Ruiz, Linda Sainz from the 5th grade, and Laura Cruz, Abril Huerta, Carolina Montemayor, and Amy Suarez from the 4th grade that are going to lead us in the U.S. Pledge and in the Texas Pledge. Everybody please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one and indivisible.
No, I don't have it ready yet. Young ladies, if you could just wait right there at the corner, I don't want you to leave just yet, okay? Leading us in the invocation this evening is Pastor John Phillips from Central Christian Church.
How are you, Mayor?
Good to see you, Pastor.
Happy Easter.
Same to you, sir.
How are you, Charlie? Happy Easter. Looking forward to seeing your family Easter, aren't you? Let's pray. Father, we thank you for Easter that reminds us of new beginnings. And we thank you, Father, through your Son and his resurrection, we can have the privilege of being here today to represent you in the government of this city. And I do pray, Father, for our mayor and for our commissioners, that you would give them the wisdom, the knowledge, and discernment to lead our city. And I thank you for their desire to be a servant. And we ask you to protect them and their families, their children. And we ask, Father, that each of us here realizes our responsibility to pass on to the next generation even better than what you've given to us. So, Father, bless them in the decisions they make concerning our city and concerning the good that we desire to do. And, Lord, help our city to be a light even to this nation. In your Son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. All right. We have a proclamation this evening for a very special young lady. Minerva, would you please stand? Come on up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a proclamation of the City Commission recognizing Minerva Peña for her commitment to our youth. Surprise. Whereas since 1991, Minerva Peña has dedicated her time and energy organizing, coaching, and helping to manage youth baseball in our city. And whereas she began her association with youth baseball at the North Brownsville Little League, serving on its board for 4 of the 6 years she was there while coaching a T-ball team that was a city all-star champion for those 6 years. And whereas in 1997, her oldest son Lupe moved to Pony which stands for Protect Our Nation's Youth Baseball, and her two other sons, Michael and Christopher, soon followed, and this started a tenure with Pony Baseball that is now in its 10th year, including all 10 years on the league board of directors and 4 years as president. Whereas the Peña family has sponsored youth baseball in Brownsville for 17 years, and the end of that string is nowhere in sight. And whereas in 2006, with Minerva Peña as league president, the local 13, 14-year-old Pony team went all the way to the Pony World Series in Pennsylvania. And whereas this year has a promise of being the most successful ever for Pony baseball in Brownsville, with more than 550 children registering to play, coached by 108 adult volunteers. And I saw each and every one of them on Sunday. Therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, by virtue of the authority vested by the Charter of said city, do hereby recognize, thank, and congratulate Minerva Peña for her involvement, dedication, and hard work in organizing, managing, and coaching hundreds of youthful baseball players in our city, and further wish her many more years of youth baseball in Brownsville. Done on this 3rd day of April, 2007, signed by the Mayor and the City Commissioners. Minerva, thank you so much for what you've done for our youth. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Minerva, we have a mic that works for you.
First of all, I'd like to thank all of you, because without the support that the city gives us, we wouldn't be as successful as we've been. I want to thank mostly the parents of the city of Brownsville who have children. Our children, the amount of kids in this city has tripled, quadrupled. I have never seen so many children in my life. We had every child come into our league and register. We said in the newspaper, in the television, Channel 12, thank you, Bill, that we were going to go all of March and April. By the time March came around, we were already at 500, and everyone came and told us, can you put us on a team? Can you put us on a team? Ladies and gentlemen, we're carrying 5- and 6-year-old T-ball teams, known as Shetland in the Pony Division, and 7- and 8-year-old Pinto teams, which are Pee Wee and Little League, that are carrying 20 players a team. We have one that has 21. We've got 2 teams in one, because we don't have the fields to spread them out, and none of our coaches had the heart to tell a child, you can't play on our team, there's no more room. And that's the kind of inspiration that we want to say to these kids. You say no to no one. Where one can play, many can play. But I thank you, the city, because without the city, without the government that we have, and the parents that love their children so much and are with them from the beginning to the end, we wouldn't be where we are today. And I'm very proud to say that Brownsville is on the map with baseball, with chess, and with soccer. We have a few more things to conquer, and ladies and gentlemen, we will. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Minerva. Keep up the great work. All right, presentation Employee of the Month.
Mayor, members of the commission, please help me welcome our Employee of the Month for April, Jose Garcia. Oh, here it is. Jose works at our airport under the direction of Larry Brown, and he's been there for 29 years, more or less the same time I've been here. He's got a vital responsibility at the airport and working with FAA and the regulations in relation to keeping our airfield clean and clear, and also escorting people into the airfield and assuring that contractors or whoever visits the airport has FAA clearance to enter the airport property, which is mandated by the rules and regulations. He's an asset to the city. He's been an asset to the airport for all these years, and we are very fortunate to have him and welcome him into the ring of an Employee of the Month for April. And of course, he's eligible for the Employee of the Year at our banquet in December. So please welcome.
Congratulations, Jose.
Jose Garcia. Once he gets the cap, the pin, and his plaque, and if Larry stays in town long enough, he'll take him to lunch. So,
I am honored to receiving this award. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Jose.
Thank you for everything you do for the city.
All right, consent agenda.
To approve?
Consent
Second.
agenda
Motion to-
items A through C.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Longoria, seconded by Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 4.
Yellow.
Item 4, consideration and action to appoint or reappoint 3 members to the Brownsville Beautification Committee.
The item indicated that the
That's mine.
organization had a couple of recommendations for the replacements.
Mayor, members of the City
Ayala?
Commission, Maribel couldn't be here this evening. She told me if I would present the item. Patrick Willis has been nominated by the,
To replace
Committee.
Mr. Scott Fry.
right.
Okay.
And,
I'll move to nominate Mr. Willis.
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor?
and
All
Mark,
opposed, motion carries. Mr.
I think
Bernard,
Mark
I'd like
Bernard.
to nominate Mr. Mark Bernard.
motion by Commissioner Nettles,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner, excuse me, Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was,
Is that only 2?
it says 3, though.
Maribel.
Oh, there's no recommendation for Ms. Guerrero's replacement. All right, we'll let her hang around.
She's doing a good job.
She's done a great job. Item 5.
Item 5, consideration and action to appoint 1 member to the Brownsville Industrial Development Corporation.
Honorable Mayor and City Commission, this corporation was created in 1986, and basically it's a conduit for corporations wanting to expand or locate in Brownsville to receive industrial revenue bonds. So tonight, I'm asking for 1 member that's to replace Mr. Stevenson that has passed away. One name that did come from the board was maybe Mr. Ray Lopez, but of course, it's open to your nomination and approval.
Is he willing to serve?
He said he was.
I would nominate Mr. Lopez.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioners Nettles. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. I did notice, Ben, that, and I appreciate all the service that these other 4 men, including Mr. Stevens, have done, but I realize that they've also been there a long time. I don't know if they want to continue to serve. They've been basically
I would
continue
probably
to
come
serve.
back in a month with 1.
Yeah.
The other ones are very happy to serve.
Okay, all right.
They meet monthly?
No, sir, we only
Once a
meet
year.
when the projects come about.
Yeah. All right, let me take out of order number 13, item 13. Stella?
Item 13, consideration and action to authorize an interlocal cooperation agreement between the City of Weslaco and the City of Brownsville for the participation in the compost utilization education project.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I have Brian Noble and Christy Joe with me tonight, and they're going to talk to you about this program.
Hi, I'm with the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, and we have a grant from EPA to do a project down in the valley, and the City of Weslaco was selected as the contractor, or my eyes on the ground, so to speak, to make all the logistical arrangements and also the work through the details as far as making this project work. I don't know if you're familiar with the project at all, but basically it's working through the Parks Department to do a demonstration of the use of compost on their facilities to address, 1 is runoff pollution, and 2 is water conservation. And the purpose is to demonstrate this to the general public and send a message, a subtle message, that it can be done on a grand scale as well as on a local, individual scale. And because water conservation is an issue down here as well as the rest of the state. So we appreciate the opportunity and to work with the City of Brownsville and the other cities that are involved. And Christy?
Hi, I'm with the City of Weslaco, and I would appreciate consideration to partner with the City of Weslaco for this compost utilization education program. I think it benefits the children. Also, in parks, it calls for strong, well, hopefully, the the soil will be strong enough, the grass will grow healthier, therefore less injuries for our young athletes. And we're hoping to educate the community as well in helping us conserve water. And like Brian said, reduce runoff pollution and low maintenance for any of our landscapes.
How would the city, I mean, in essence, the project is being coordinated and run through Weslaco, and then you're asking other cities, I guess, to set up their own smaller, what'd you call it?
Demonstration sites.
Compost utilization agent, yeah, demonstration sites?
All we're doing is asking you all to allow us to lay compost, top dress one of your parks with compost.
You don't have to do it just one.
Well, we're doing 2 sites.
All right.
We're going to do 2 sites, and it's just a demonstration so that the community learns.
It's limited.
Which 2 sites are you?
Yeah, which 2 sites?
We're going to use, elevated park soccer
Good.
field is just worn out. And
Great.
as much as we try to keep that up, to our standards, so we're going to try it over there on some of those fields and see what happens. And then we're going to try. Forgot about that.
I can hear you, but the audience can't.
Okay, we're going to try at Oliveto Park on the soccer fields, which get continuous use.
Right.
And that's because of what a good junior program we have, which feeds into the high schools.
Exactly.
And then we're going to try the Trail of Trees, which we are really having problems getting grass to grow over there for some reason. So if we can use this project, and they're going to monitor it for a year, and see what we can do, then we'll pick some other areas that we have problems with and go from there. But I think those are 2 pretty good test sites for right now.
I'd like to see if maybe you could try it out also on the Gonzalez Rosenbaum soccer fields.
Which ones are those?
The main field.
Yeah.
The main field.
Main field is,
The one main field at
Yeah.
Gonzalez, it's just one.
yeah, that one's not worn out as much, but we can try it over there too.
Appreciate it.
I'll make a
I
motion
think we
to
do
approve.
have one of the best
Thank you.
fields at Morningside Park
We
there.
have a motion to approve by Commissioner Nettles, seconded by Commissioner
Second.
Camarillo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah, best luck.
Item 6,
Item 6, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2007-010 to rezone from dwelling G classification to medium retail G classification, 1.1 acre and lot AN5 out of Block 20 of El Jardín subdivision located near Boca Chica Boulevard and Clubhouse Street.
Alderman Mayor and City Commission, the property shaded in red is close, it's on Boca Chica and close to Clubhouse Road. The Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this application and approved it for your recommendation, with positive recommendation to allow a medium retail G on this parcel of property.
I see that it was a split vote.
That's
Ben,
correct.
What was the issue?
The issue was that if you look at the map, the other colors there, the other commercial lots are second commercial, and wanted to follow that trend. So it was just a split vote between third and second commercial. They agreed that it should be commercialized, but just between the second and
What are they going to be able to put under?
well, it was basically the uses would be the same. It's just the appearance under second commercial. We retain the residential appearance, and in the third, it could be commercialized.
All right, this is a public hearing. Is there anybody here on this matter?
I believe the applicant was here. She would like to speak.
Well, I'm sure the applicant's in favor of it.
Would it
Is
close?
there anybody here to speak against it? All right, we have a motion closed by Commissioner Longoria,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Nettles. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Action.
Would approve?
Motion approved by
Second.
Commissioner Longoria, seconded by Commissioner Nettles. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 7.
Item 7, consideration and action regarding retention of a Dallas-based law firm to pursue damages in pending litigation styled Golden Spread versus City of Brownsville.
Mayor, members of the City Commission, as you're all aware, our litigation that's pending in Dallas concerning Golden Spread and the City of Brownsville has been returned from the Texas Supreme Court in our favor. We have acquired our interest that we had negotiated for some time back, and have now brought our coal-generated power plant online for the city. During the course of that litigation, we feel like that we should have been entitled to the The difference in expenses that the city had to pay to produce electricity, and as a result that we feel like there is a damage claim that should be brought in Dallas County. We've spoken to a number of highly qualified and specialized firms who deal primarily with, or almost exclusively with commercial litigation, and one is Diamond McCarthy, which has been here before and have met with you all tonight. I think you also got a chance to meet with Sales Warbner. They're both top-flight commercial litigation firms based in Dallas or with Dallas offices. To make things even more difficult is after discussing with one another their respective fee agreements and proposals to the city, they've also offered identical fee proposals to the city, but I think both of them have indicated that they'd be willing to consider even additional arrangements if the commission preferred that. There are representatives here tonight from Sales Warbner if you have any questions, if you would like to ask them anything personally. Otherwise, we are fortunate to have two highly qualified firms that are of strong presence in Dallas that are both interested in pursuing the case on the city's behalf. And this would, of course, be in conjunction with PUB, insofar as they also have obviously an extremely high interest in the outcome of the litigation.
Jim, and did you say that PUB has met with both of the firms also?
I went to Dallas with two members of the PUB board, Chris Valadez, I think is maybe the current chairman, and Pat Amada. Also,
Oh, no, Mr. Sanchez is the current chairman.
oh, I'm sorry. In any event, also John Davidson, the attorney that's represented the city, and his partner Gaines Griffin, and then a representative from Rodriguez, Colvin, and Cheney, PUB's in-house counsel, Terry Danish. So the six of them, along with myself, went to Dallas, interviewed three different firms, and the initial firm was Sussman Godfrey, who really has a larger presence in Houston and in New York, but also highly qualified. But they indicated they hadn't had time to really come completely up to speed, and did not have a firm fee proposal to make to us at the time. They would be interested in discussing it further with us, but the two additional firms, Diamond McCarthy and Sales Warbner, both had time to research it carefully and had detailed fee proposals that they both made to us. Afterwards, between ourselves, we've spoken to each of the firms, and they've spoken to each other as well. And they're both highly complimentary of each other, but they both feel like that they could bring something a little bit unique to the table. They're both qualified firms, and I think that it's if the commission feels ready to make a decision, that either of them would be able to adequately represent the city going forward.
Anybody else from PUB want to say anything?
Mayor, I move to retain the services of Sells and Warbner to pursue the damages and pending litigation.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Atkinson, seconded by Commissioner Longoria. Is your motion to enter into negotiations with regards to the fee arrangement, or are you making
to retain the services of
on what basis?
Sells and Warbner, based on the presentations they've given us?
No. The fee arrangement.
Oh,
do you want Jim to negotiate that, or leave that open for discussion, or are you making a recommendation on?
No, I'm based on what we've seen in executive and stuff like that, I move to retain the services of Sells and Warbner, that they be the firm that represents the city.
Commissioner, Mayor, I'm sorry. Let me just interrupt though. I stated earlier there could be discussion regarding those fee agreements, and they said that they'd allow discussion. But you're saying that you want to make the motion that already takes into place that was discussed in the executive session and leave it as is, and not go and have further discussion.
I'm making the motion.
That's what he said.
No?
That's what he said.
I think we should have further discussion.
That's fine.
We
have a motion by Commissioner Atkinson, seconded by Commissioner Longoria, to approve the retention of Sales Warbner as the attorneys for the city of Brownsville as presented and as made in their proposal. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
5 nay, 1 nay.
Who was the name?
Me. I have my questions about the arrangement. I think we could have discussed that further, but I'm sure I know they're excellent lawyers, and they'll represent us well, but I have my concerns. Item 8.
Thank you.
Item 8, consideration and action, if any, with respect to the pending labor negotiations between the City of Brownsville and the Brownsville Firefighters Association, including all salary, wage, and other matters contained therein.
Wrong, right? Oh, I'd like to see this get done.
Mayor, Commissioners, this is more in the nature of a status report as to where we are. We have another offer from the union. I did not request this agenda item myself, but we wanted to put it back before you.
Who requested this
I
item?
requested it.
Mr. Longoria?
Yes.
Okay.
And we did meet with the union informally. We had a meeting with them in which they were willing to give us the Me Too clause the way that we felt that we needed it in order to take care of that issue. However, it had a price tag on it that was very high, and after consulting with finance and looking at the city's budget scenario, determined that that price tag was too high and not worth it, not affordable. We did go round and round about that some more, and we're not able to make any progress. So we went back to leaving the Me Too clause the way that the union had proposed it, and with a different pay proposal, which is similar to what we had before, and the component of which I have the similar concerns, which is the lump sum payment of what was previously $3,200 is now $3,600.
Let me ask you something about that $3,600. That lump sum is basically what they would have gotten if this contract would have been settled 18 months ago or 20 months ago. Am I correct or not?
It would have amounted to more or less that amount, but because we have a retroactivity prohibition, we cannot do retroactivity.
Exactly.
And I think that the way the firefighters are treating that is that they're basically saying, well, this is, had we agreed to this back before, it is a little more, but then they're capturing it or making it up through the lump sum. The contract amount proportionately is a little bit over what the police contract would be, so there's some exposure there, but that's what that amounts to. I do want to point out that these demands are always couched in the form of entitlements. They are not entitlements. It's negotiations, and so the risk of not closing a deal back then puts us where we are today.
Excuse me, Mr. Navarro, you're referring to 3,600 or 3,200? How much is that? Are we talking about in fact?
Total. If we were to do this proposal, which provides for a total amount of 4,800. 1,200 of it would be pro rata between now and the end of the year, which really leaves us just a few months, and then the 3,600 of that would be lump sum. That figure, that cost, that $4,800 cost, with the city's share of taxes, interest, FICA, so forth, will cost you about $1 million.
That will cost $1 million?
About $1 million. You would have to be prepared to spend about $1 million between...
On the lump sum only?
The lump sum and the 1,200. 1,200 of it can be prorated between now and the end of the fiscal year.
That's not the entire cost of the contract.
That is not the entire cost of the contract. The cost of the contract using...
As they're presenting.
As they're presenting it, it's about 3.9 mil.
So it's...
So
that includes the million lump sum?
Yes, that it does.
So it's 2.9 and all the other raises and
the other raises, yeah,
those certification.
Yes, those are all.
And then $1 million on lump sum.
Those are all included in there. I had reported to you earlier that the proportionate dollar value with the police contract would have put us at about 3.2 million. So this is a little higher than that. But we were, I think, at one point willing to pay a little bit more if we could have gotten the Me Too clause the way we wanted it.
From 3.2 to 3.9, correct?
Yes, sir.
So at a given rate of about $700,000.
2.9 to 3.
Yeah. 3.9 is about the current cost of this offer.
Okay, and if this continues, and if you continue with negotiations with them another month, we're going to continue on this issue, and the amount
Goes higher.
on their part with negotiations will be higher.
Well, I don't know that it gets higher. It just shifts back and forth. I'm listening.
It'll continue. It'll continue to escalate, and eventually, if this continues another month or another 2 months, maybe 3, it'll escalate, and we'll end up paying $4,000 2 or 3 months down from now, maybe more.
44.
It's not costing you more as time goes on.
But let me tell you something, my concern was, this has been going on 20 months, and people say it's political. It's not political. I didn't get an opponent. And I have been I want to say, involved in trying to see these negotiations out. And I don't think it's political. I just think it's something that's fair. $3,600, it's something that if they would have settled back then, they would have got it anyway. You know what I mean? But it's been taking a long time. Be it as it may, yes, they have a little blame for that, but so does the city, because negotiations have failed. Bottom line, I want to move ahead. I don't know about you all. And what it looks like is this contract is nothing more than what the police was going to get. And the only scare is that the police might Me Too this. If there was no Me Too, I think you'd be in favor of it. Am I correct or no?
If we didn't have the Me Too exposure, we'd probably be in.
So that's what's at hand, is that they're getting a fair deal in this contract. And it's fair for the families that have been waiting 18 months to get something. You know what I mean? And they
I
haven't.
agree with you, but our city citizens,
Mm-hmm.
it's not necessarily fair to the citizens. The firefighters receive good salaries. Adding the Me Too in there is what throws this out of the park. Adding that Me Too. And then, I mean, you were using almost 50% of our budget. And that's wonderful. I'm not complaining about that, but this continues escalating. Every time negotiations come up, we're going to be spending 75% of our budget on police and firefighters. It's got to stop at some point.
Is our fire department, where do they rank, pay-wise, salary-wise in the Valley or South Texas? Is there any other city in the Valley that pays?
We're also the biggest city in the Valley.
Hold on a second. Is there any other city that pays them more? How about, what about Laredo and Corpus?
Not at entry. Laredo is lower.
Laredo complained that we're
messing it up for them?
Yes.
I just want our citizens to know, we're not trying to cheat the firefighters in any way. We're just trying to do what's right for the community. What's going to eventually happen is, if this continues escalating, taxes are going to have to be increased. The citizens want us to maintain low taxes, but if we're going to continue increasing these salaries because of Me Too, taxes are going to go up. It's inevitable.
Sally, but the Me Too goes back to the police, not the firemen. If the police want to Me Too it, that hurts the city.
The police have already offered to drop the Me Too if the firefighters would give it up.
But that's something I would say too. I mean, I would say that, because they know these guys have been underpaid longer.
The bottom
than
line,
the police.
Commissioner, the bottom line is the dollars, the
Okay,
cost.
but no one's saying anything about the dollars. They're saying about the Me Too. Are we afraid the police are going to Me Too it? Well, the police, if they're going to Me Too it, we're going to hold them accountable if they want to Me Too something. But as the contract reads, it's what's fair for them. It's what's fair for their family. And at the end of the day, if there's a Me Too, it's not their fault. It's the police who are going to want to Me Too it.
I want the citizens to be fully aware of the issues, that's all.
Well, that's where we're at.
This isn't a game, guys.
Yeah, and it's not a game, but at the bottom line, end of the day, Sally, the contract that went back, and there's 3 or 4 other proposals, but we can't afford them. So this was the best thing that we can come up with as far as, and Pete Rodriguez, our financier, he's been in those.
Pete Gonzalez.
Pete Gonzalez. He's been in those, and I can see where his concerns are. That's why we couldn't negotiate getting rid of the Me Too, because the numbers weren't
Mr.
there.
Gonzalez, is he here?
You know, and you gotta
Can
understand,
the
Before
city
Pete- before
afford
Pete gets
this
here.
right now?
We knew that Me Too was going to end up costing. If we wanted to get rid of Me Too, it was going to cost. Now, obviously, when we looked at the numbers, we can't afford to get rid of Me Too with what's being with what's being offered. So we look at proposition number 3, which was our third option.
you know, and which is
Firefighters
basically,
are the highest paid.
we're also the biggest
This isn't a
city
situation
in the
where,
valley.
this isn't a situation where they're not getting paid.
Well,
Can we afford it, Mr. Gonzalez?
well, he's a financial guy, he's gonna say.
That's the taxpayers' money.
But his job,
Well, we're also looking at the taxpayer here because we are, when we prepare the budget coming up in October and September, we are going to be asking you for a tax increase, for sure. You're asking
so
me.
the whole city depends on what we give the firemen, that's it?
As
We
long
have
as
to
you-
raise taxes just because of the firemen?
As long as you
Call the
understand, Commissioner, that
Call the budget.
we are going to be coming forward for a tax increase.
Well, then I'm telling you, I don't know about
Tax
later, but I
increase.
know about right now, I'm asking you, or I'm telling you as a city commissioner, that I want you to look at those numbers carefully, because we're not gonna raise taxes.
Yeah, we're
And
not.
we're gonna ask you to look at that budget and make the cuts so that we do not have to raise taxes, Pete, because we will not, I guarantee you, we will not raise taxes in October. So you're gonna have to find it somewhere within the budget, and we're gonna have to make those cuts so that we do not raise taxes.
Yeah, there's an item on the agenda tonight regarding streets, Commissioner.
I understand, and I know you're gonna come with me at the streets, Pete, but we're gonna have to find it somewhere.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, do you have this is an action item.
I motion to approve, contract or whatever it is, proposal and agreement that's been
Mayor, I have a
pending for
question
20
before-
months.
I'm sorry, could you do that again?
What'd you say?
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Well, I guess a point, and 2 points. I don't think we're ever saying that firefighters are not deserving, but 2 things that catch this, you know, that 2 things that I wonder, I disagree with is when the firefighters did negotiations last contract, they had a legal team. This time around, legal team is gone. And I've always wondered that. I've had discussion with some of the firefighters off the side, and I always wondered, where's the legal team? What happened to the team that's supposed to, you know, represent you all? It's been the association and the members. So I've always wondered, well, why has that been? Why is it the PD? They've had their legal teams, they've done the following. You all have had a legal team, they did that last contract. This time around, it's been like, no legal team. We're gonna do it. This is what we want. Well, why is that? And that's been my question. I haven't got to answer it. And 2, when you bring up the issue, well, why is it that the firefighters have to face the brunt of it all because they're second in line to come to the table? Well, remember, we've always allowed both of them to negotiate at the same time, but for some reason it's never been it's never matched. They both haven't agreed to do it at the same time. So let's not penalize PD. Say PD, they've gone first.
We're not penalizing
They wanna
PD.
go.
They
Well,
got
I'm
a
just
great
saying,
contract.
when you make that point, it's
They
like,
got
wait
a
a minute,
great contract.
they've all had an opportunity to come to the table at the same time. But, Mr. Longoria, that's been my issue. What happened to the legal team, and why are they not here at this point in time regarding this contract?
Charlie, for the time being, you just withdraw your motion, you can raise it as soon as we're done again.
To answer
Otherwise, I
that
gotta call it for a
question, Commissioner Camarillo.
Hold on.
Yes, sir.
Can you just withdraw so we can continue the discussion?
Okay, I withdraw my motion right now.
Okay.
All right now.
We've never had a legal team, okay? Firefighters ourselves, we get trained by the state association to conduct these kinds of proceedings, okay? And so far, we've been successful, and we will continue doing this, okay? At the time we need a legal team, that is when it comes to litigation for something that we cannot handle at the legal level. That's about the only time. Other than that, we handle it ourselves. And I'd like to also comment a little bit, Commissioner Arroyo, you made a comment about the highest paid fire department, and yes, you're correct. We're probably the highest. We're not that far off from the rest of the valley, some of the big cities. That is because we run the fire EMS that the other cities don't, okay? Also, we made this kind of like a gentleman's agreement back when Lenny Lambert was city manager, where we proposed for the city to increase the staffing, which we are very low at right now. Mr. Lambert at that time told us that that would not happen anytime soon, that he'd rather put it in our salaries. Okay, at this point, I don't know if you're well aware of it, a city like Brownsville, ambulances in the city of Brownsville should be right now at 15 count, and we are at 5. Our guys are overworked. I think the salaries that we're proposing are way below than what we deserve. Okay, that is why we're proposing this. There's no such thing as we're overpaid. No, we're not overpaid at all. We're underpaid. Firefighters work 53 hours a week without the benefit of overtime. Okay, we don't get to go home to our families every day like everybody else does. Okay, we work 670 hours more a year than police department does. Okay, and there's a lot of other aspects of our job. They're coming to play here. So no, we're not overpaid at all. So we would like to see if you guys would consider.
No one has ever said you're overpaid.
Right. Well, I think Commissioner Arroyo has given us
We're
the
among the
impression.
highest paid.
Yes, and we don't see any problem with that. I don't know if you would. Do you?
I'm only speaking for the citizens in our community,
That is
for our
correct.
tax dollars,
Our citizens of Brownsville get the best service available.
which they deserve, truly.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do, Mr.
All right.
Longoria.
And this is my deal for you. I'm asking you.
No, you're not going to ask her. This is not a negotiation. I'm letting you speak and make your comments, Mr. Longoria, but you don't have to address any of the members up here personally.
Not on a personal basis, but I'm just asking for your consideration.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Rick, where's Pete? On the staffing issue that Mr. Longoria just raised, right now, the numbers that you all are calculating is based upon the current numbers of fire and EMT personnel, right? And we're short what? How many? Staffing-wise? No, I'm talking about personnel, individuals.
No. Chief? He's talking about statistics as to the.
I'm not, yeah. You said a minute ago that the city was understaffed at the fire department.
We're understaffed about 30 paramedics and about 100 firefighters.
Okay. Is that true, Chief?
We have no vacancies at this time, though.
If you're looking.
So
for
we're
the-
short 130 members of our fire EMT department?
Sir, if you're looking for the ordinance, we're short one individual. If you're looking at what my staffing needs to be at present time, I need 2 aerials and about 4 more stations. And the amount comes out to about 40-something, 50-something people.
Okay. Well, if we were to try to fill those deficiencies, that shortage of personnel, would that add to the contract price?
For 9 people, you're looking at $450,000 per every 9 persons that we hire.
Per year, right now?
Yes, sir. So they're looking
So
at
if there were
45
50, let's say that's 5.
50,000 for each one of them, more or less.
Okay, I guess the answer then is if we had it fully staffed, the contract would cost us more money. We'd have to spread that money over more officers.
You're looking at
Or whatever we have, we have to spread over more
Yes, sir.
personnel.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? If not, okay, Commissioner.
Mayor, one last question, one last question.
hold on.
Will this budget, if approved, will it give us more personnel? Or is this something that's going to be contingent on the
This is
fact
based-
that we go back to the table and look at hiring more people?
You have a certain number of authorized slots. This budget is calculated on the assumption that all the slots are filled, which I think they all are.
So we have no
And you don't
slots.
have a vacancy problem like you had at PD several years ago. So they're all filled, so that the calculation is accurate for what is budgeted and authorized at this time.
Rick, what is your recommendation?
My recommendation, that is, if you can live with the $1 million lump sum payment this year, we have done a lot to move this contract along. We've cleaned it up quite a bit. If you're willing to bear the risk of the Me Too I would say
Which
it's doable, okay? I just want to be clear that I have no control over that. And neither
I
do
just
you.
want to hear your recommendation. That's what we've been paying you, that's what you've been doing for the last 20 months. So,
Well, it's kind of a recommendation.
I would like to see the contract closed, so I would recommend that the contract, assuming that you can pay it.
Okay, I move to award this proposal, and let's move on.
I would ask this, that you rule on the,
Second.
if you're going to do it, that you rule on this fiscal offer that I have given you, and that you authorize the city manager.
wait, which, okay,
The fiscal number that I showed you in executive session.
Right.
Which I've shared with the union. And that you approve that, and that as part of the motion, you authorize the city manager to let us finish up there's a few straggly operational articles that need to be tied down, but I think that we can do those. We don't need to come back to the commission. So
There's
if
a
you
little like typos
approve the
or something.
fiscal component, authorize the manager to resolve the remaining less than a handful of operational details.
Is that your motion, Commissioner?
Yes, that's
so
my
your motion is to approve
The fiscal
the offer of the fire department union
Yes.
as presented.
as presented in this pay table A that was presented to you today. This is the one that has the cost of about 3.9, and it has a lump sum payment amount. It's gonna, Pete's gonna need about $1 million to pay that. And
Pete,
then-
what do you have budgeted for this contract?
That's not acceptable, Pete.
Come on, Pete.
Here, Pete, I want you to speak up.
The answer is, we need a budget amendment for the $1 million.
What about the other portion of it?
That comes back on the following years.
Pete, next fiscal.
But we only have 1 year left, right?
We'll prepare a budget in October, with that'll, be- all the
It'll be
increases.
included in the
With that
next-
2.9.
Yeah, that's going to be included in the next budget, 2008 budget. Right now, we would have to make a budget amendment, fiscal year 2007.
Where would that money come
back
from?
From the fund balance.
Where does it stand right now?
Right now, we ended the year with a very good fund balance, but since then, we've had several budget amendments.
Right.
That our fund balance is now to around 16 million. So it's going to be.
Is that right at the 15% threshold that we're?
Right now, we're approximately around 17. This is going to bring it back to around 15, 14%.
That's fine, man.
I'll second the motion, Mayor.
Okay. I just want to make sure that the details on Commissioner Atkinson's motion are clear. Well, it's a 2.9 in the,
As
in the
presented.
collecting bargaining provisions plus $1 million, plus a $3,600 lump sum. Is that right? Is that,
The 3,600 lump sum is included in the overall 2.9 million cost.
so then what's the extra $1 million?
Yeah.
The million is what you're going to need to come up with within 30 days of signing the contract to pay the lump sum.
Well, I understood that this contract, if approved, had a total price of about 3.9 million.
Yeah, that the 1 million was gonna be to cover the 3,600
Yeah, so now if you're
first.
saying it's 2.9, well, that's $1 million less than.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I misspoke.
You had said that the,
3.9,
that
3.9.
your calculations, if it were proportional
3.9.
to the police, would have been 3.2.
Yes.
This contract is being proposed, totals 3.9.
Correct.
$1 million of that being the lump sum amount.
Yep.
Right, correct.
All right.
That's correct. I'm
So,
sorry if I
so
misspoke.
Commissioner Atkinson's motion is to approve the union's offer at 3.9, including 1 million lump sum, all right?
Yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cisneros, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
And then the city manager is authorized to wrap up the final operational
Yes.
details.
I'm gonna upset the fire department, but I'm gonna vote nay only because of the fact that the city does not have that amount of money. But, are they deserving of it? Yes. Can we afford it? Doesn't sound like it. So, all right, motion passes. Item 9.
Excuse me, Mayor, may I, please?
Thank you, Mr. Longoria. We're going to move on.
I just wanted to thank everybody for
We
your
appreciate it.
consideration. Thank you, Mayor.
Item 9, consideration and action on resolution number 2007-016, approving a bond and loan agreement by the Brownsville Industrial Development Corporation to issue $1.2 million in principal amount of bonds for Teletool and Manufacturing Company, an Illinois corporation, for the purpose of refunding outstanding bonds previously issued by the corporation for Teletool and Manufacturing Company, and approving the bond resolution providing for the issuance of such funds.
Honorable Mayor and City Commission, at noon, the Brownsville Industrial Development Corporation met and approved the same documents that you're approving. Tonight, we're asking for you to ratify their actions as required. These bonds are bonds that Teletool now has financed their improvements in Brownsville. They're basically refinancing. There is no liability to the city whatsoever regarding financial position or bond rating. Both Mr. Larry Jordan and Mr. Morales from Larry Jordan from Estrada Hinojosa and Mr. Morales with the law firm of McCall, Parkhurst, and Horton, which are bond counsel for the corporation and the financial advisor for the corporation as well, are here to answer any questions. So I ask for your approval of this resolution.
You're recommending approval?
Yes.
Any questions?
So move.
Motion approved by Commissioner Longoria.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Nettles. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 10.
Item 10, consideration and action to adopt budget amendment resolution number 2007-017 to amend the general fund by $218,840 to provide funding for the purchase of traffic signals for the Electrical Signals Division.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Commission, this is a budget amendment that we would like for you to approve, and this in regards to purchasing of those much-needed traffic signals for the...
This is an action item.
Move to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Camarillo, seconded by Commissioner Arroyo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 11.
Item 11, consideration and action to purchase property located on Block 91, Lot 7 of Brownsville Original Town Site.
Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners, this evening we're requesting your authorization to purchase the next property at the multimodal terminal site, as we discussed in executive session.
This is an action item.
Move to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Arroyo,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 12.
Item 12, consideration and action to authorize the city manager to enter into a memorandum of understanding between Cameron County and the City of Brownsville Urban System with regard to a partnership for the continuation and/or expansion of public transportation to Cameron Park and other colonias in Cameron County with the Texas Department of Transportation's Job Access and Reverse Commute Program.
At this time, we're asking your authorization to allow the city manager to sign a memorandum of understanding with Cameron County to accept $83,148.59 to help subsidize some of the routes that we will be expanding for under the JARC program.
So move.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Longoria.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Nettles. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 14.
Item 14, consideration and action to renew an agreement between the City of Brownsville and the Brownsville Community Health Center for 10 years for the use of a city building to provide primary health care services.
Honorable Mayor and City Commission, the Brownsville Community Health Center is housed in a city-owned facility. There has been only one agreement, that's when they separated from the city. They used to be a city department. I'm asking tonight for a 10-year term. This agreement also includes that they will get free utility service.
It's $1 a year, right?
It's $1 a year.
And free utilities?
For 10 years.
I got a phone call about that, and they would like it to be 20 years. Now, but the understanding is, obviously, if they stop operating in that facility, that the lease reverts to the city.
Well, it's a city-owned facility, the
I
city-owned building.
understand that, but we don't want them to have
But if we
title
sign
to
an
that
agreement,
facility after they're no longer providing health care services there. Jim, you follow what I'm saying?
I do,
Yes.
yes, sir.
Okay, we just want to make sure that then they can't go out and sublease it to somebody, well, we're only paying us $1, and
Can we add a special clause in
But
there? saying
those
that?
clauses already in the agreement that we prepared, they cannot sublet.
Ben, Mayor, I
I
have a
didn't,
que-
well, I can't say I read it completely, top to bottom, but I didn't catch that one up. Maybe, I guess it's in there. All right.
Well, I don't
Will you
think,
make
I don't
sure?
think that, I don't think that a city commission 10 years from now is gonna have a problem letting them have the building again.
No, that's
So
what I'm
if it's
saying.
just standard, if we go at 10,
But if they're- but if
This
they're
original
gone.
agreement was 1979, right? 25 years, or
No, 20 years ago.
20 years ago,
Separate
20 years
from the
ago.
city.
20 years
20
ago.
for 20.
And the agreement calls for others, where staff was transferred, and it's a different agreement because it's the different time. But I would recommend 10 years.
Well, how about
Go ahead,
15
Mayor.
then?
how about 15, Ben?
Is that your motion?
So move
Mayor?
it that we renew the agreement at $15 at $1 per year with.
15 years.
15 years, with the city, with them paying $1 lease and city picking up the tab for utilities.
A motion by Commissioner Longoria for a term of 15 years. with
Second.
this, continued utility, second by Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Ben, on this agreement, what does it say about the facility, the structure, the parking lot? I know Judge Martinez has expressed concern.
The city's leasing this as is, and they are required to maintain
The structure.
the structure and parking lot.
But Mr. Cavalier, we've discussed this. I think if the city's in a position to assist in repaving the parking lot, we're talking about the citizens, our low-income citizens that go there for primary health care. I don't think it's gonna hurt us or hurt our
Done
budget
separately.
to do that. So I think we ought to look into assisting them in that endeavor. Item 15.
Item 15, consideration and action to approve a memorandum of understanding between the University of Texas at Brownsville and Texas Southmost College Police Department and the Brownsville Police Department for the use of 800 megahertz trunk radio system.
Honorable Mayor and Commissioners, the university is making use of our 800 trunk radio system. There is a scheduled payment for each radio that will be used at the university, and we recommend that we accept this proposal, memorandum of understanding.
This is an action item. Motion approved by Commissioner Arroyo, seconded by Commissioner Longoria. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 16. Thank you, Commander.
Item 16, consideration and action to award a contract for swimming pool resurfacing services for Gonzalez Park and Oliveta Park.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, at the request of our Parks and Rec Director, Skip Keller, the Purchasing Department solicited formal sealed proposals for this project. These proposals were received on February the 20th, and we received one proposal for this work. After the evaluation committee members submitted their evaluation score sheets, the Purchasing Department tabulated those scores. Purchasing staff has reviewed the received proposed contract agreement from Alvarez Pools and Spas. You might remember these are the folks that did our Washington Park fountain. This proposed contract was also reviewed by the committee and was deemed to be very comprehensive, containing a fee structure that met the requirements of Parks and Rec Department. We have, it's important to point out to you that we are utilizing BCIC funding for this endeavor for fixing those two pools. The total amount of the contract funding available is $120,000. The contract award to Alvarez Pools that we're recommending is $108,500. Leaves us sufficient funds to accomplish one additional feature to the pools which was not in the request for proposals, and that being to do a conversion on the chlorine system. We feel confident that we can negotiate that with Alvarez once they're underway and then do a change order and stay within the budget.
What conversion is that, Skip? Step up, please.
None of the other bidders
Submitted?
well, they were the only ones that submitted?
On this RFP, that was the only submission.
Oh, okay. So you sent it to all those, but nobody else submitted other than?
That is correct. We have tried to get the other firms involved in the project. We actually went out for RFPs once before on this project. We received one submittal. It was way over the budget. Did not include all of the scope of services that is included in this one, so.
Oh, funding's in place?
Hold on, Skip, Commissioner Longoria had a question.
Go ahead.
We're going to get rid of the gas chlorine, which is dangerous, and go to pellets or bleach.
Okay.
Because that gas chlorine is really dangerous if it's not controlled.
Skip, have you looked into what I asked you about a year and a half ago for the shade structures on both parks, on both pools?
Yes, we did. We put that in the budget, and it was rejected, so.
Rejected by whom?
The budget process.
But the
So,
BCIC?
Then, I think it was in that one also. We put in the general fund budget and the other one. So we're going to try again this go-around.
Okay, any other questions?
Paul, you said funding was in place?
We have funding, we have a contract in place with BCIC to the amount of $120,000. They have authorized funding
What are we
up to the specific line items that are in the proposal. So we will have a little bit of a difference that we can utilize for doing this conversion that Skip has mentioned, and I'm confident BCIC will authorize that expenditure as well.
All right.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Camarillo, seconded by Commissioner Longoria. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 17.
Item 17, consideration and action to award a term contract for paving services for the city of Brownsville.
Honorable Mayor and Commissioners, at the request of our Public Works Director, Purchasing Department solicited formal seal bids for this project. While I'm presenting this, you might want to take a look at the slides we're projecting, and we can go over those again if you like. It is the intent of the City of Brownsville to establish a term contract for paving services for Public Works and Engineering departments for our city. The term contract derived from this solicitation shall be awarded to a total of 3 general contractors, and let me elaborate on that. There shall be a contract awarded to a Level 1 primary contractor, a Level 2 secondary contractor, and a Level 3 tertiary contractor. Each level's cost shall be determined on a net cost basis. In other words, we bid out each particular level. Awarded contractors can participate only at one level. So the way this works then is, should the Level 1 primary contractor be unable to pave when directed by Public Works because he's busy, then the next level will be enlisted to pave additional streets and so on, so that we're keeping all 3 of the firms working on a rotation basis, as it were.
Okay, I had a quick question. On the proposals for the tertiary level, you guys are recommending R&R paving, but the number, you want to have a third firm, is that what it is? Even though their third level was not the lowest?
Right, we want to have 3 firms. We have to disqualify anyone else if they've already been recommended for Level 1 or Level 2, so we're left with what's in Level 3.
As per what? How do you determine that?
We'll do that. Let's go to the bid tabulation, please, and I'll explain it to you. To the bid tabulation, please. Right there.
Right there, yeah.
As you can see, and I'm sorry that this is small, but what we did was really, this is 3 bids in one. Would be the easiest way for you to make that analogy. So each bidder knows that he has to consider all 3 levels independently of the other 2. So in the primary level, these were the bids that we received: G&T, R&R, and Peterson. $17.49, $22.22, and $22 even. So at Level 2, G&T bids $24, but they're already out because we're recommending them for Level 1. So you can disqualify them for Level 2 and
Well, could you just explain to me, because on Level 1, yes, G&T comes in at a wonderful price at $17.49 if they're hauling from 511, but even though they're at Level 1, if they have to go to Progreso, they go to $24.50, correct? Same thing with Peterson and same thing with R&R, correct?
Same thing, no, and I will further explain that if you'll let me get through these levels, and then I'll explain that little situation, which is really not a big deal. We're down to Level 2 now, so we only have these 2 to look at. So our recommendation is the low one of $22. We get to Level 3, G&T is out, Peterson is out because we're recommending them for Level 2, so the consideration there falls to $24.50. Now, you could say, well, why would you want to spend $24.50 when you could spend $17.49 for all the work and save the city a lot of money? That's true, except you need to consider this in a little bit larger fashion. If we have streets that are open and we can't get this contractor in at $17.49, it's imperative to us to spend a few more dollars to get the streets closed and to continue the paving program. The difference in price here is minimal in the overall cost of the street project. Now, going to Commissioner Longoria's question here, 1749 versus 2450. The reason that we put that in our specifications is because the city has a contract with Frontera. So we're obligated to buy the asphalt from Frontera. Under this paving contract, we are providing the material. The contractor is only doing the paving. Since we have this contract with Frontera, we are eligible to pull material off the 511 plant, or if it were shut down, we could go to Progresso if we had to go to Progresso. The odds of that are slight. Out of 100 times that we would pull asphalt, maybe 1 or 2 times we would go to Progresso. The reason being is that the differential in price here is all attributed to the haul rate. It's very expensive to haul material. So we simply are making this declaration. Now, if you'll scroll down just a little bit so that this part of the screen is visible. In our analysis, here's the determination we made. If on 100 trips, 60 of the trips, the majority of the trips were to go to Progresso and only 40 trips were to go to Brownsville, that would give us an average price of $21.70. So that $21.70 would still be the low amount on this line item. So it's really a moot point. And that's also given the fact that we do not anticipate going to Progresso. We simply we put that information into our bid specs. We did not ask this bidder to give us a price both ways.
All right.
What we asked all of the bidders is to be aware of the fact that you have an alternate place from where to pull your asphalt. They all said, I'm not going to Progresso.
Well, let me ask you something real quick, Paul. On this thing, who decides because primary level 1 gets awarded a 1 that they can't go after level 2 or level 3? Who says that?
Well, that was the determination that was made by staff for the very simple
What
reason
staff?
that, excuse me?
What staff?
That would be Mr. Ayala, Mr. Ivory, myself. And let me explain to you why. It's a common sense approach. If we were to award all of this work to the low bidder, 1749 G&T, we're going to reach a point very quickly when G&T is telling us, sorry guys, we're maxed out. We can't do the work.
And they've
We've
told
been
you that
doing a
before?
demonstration project for
They've
about...
told you that before?
I'm sorry?
They've told you that before?
Commissioner, we have never done this before. The idea is to team up with contractors to get as many streets done as possible because of the demand we're having. We decided to work with contractors and we do the bulk of the work. We do all the work on the, they come in and just put the
we do it faster.
apron on the work. So we can continuously move on to other streets. We do not want one of these contractors to tell us we're too busy. So we decided to get 3 people. If G&G tells us we're too busy, we want to go to the next one. And we want to continue working without stopping, without having issues with the contractor. If he can't make it, that's fine. We got another one. We'll call the second one in line. The second one in line can't make it, we call the third one in line.
And G&T is not eliminated, it's just on a rotation.
I just like the fact that
That's why I asked that question, Paul, at the very beginning, because that's, you answered it.
Yeah, we would never eliminate them. It's just for that particular portion of the work. And yes, this has happened. We've been doing a demonstration project for about 30 days, and we're going to show you a map of the streets that we've done here in a second. And we have had the instance when they said, sorry, we have to pull our equipment off of this road because we have to go and finish elsewhere. So we need this leverage against the contractor.
The last thing we want is delays, especially on street work.
Take a look here at this map that we produced. Everything that you see in yellow are the streets that we have paved as a city without any contractor's help in the last 1 year. And I believe if we were to zoom in here, you would see that it's about 8 miles. David tells me we are equipped with our own crews to do about 10 miles a year.
I wish.
The problem with the city doing its own paving is very simple. The same guys that do the paving are the same guys that do the milling. You can't mill and pave with the same guys at the same time. So if we can enlist our guys to do the milling, which in those photos you saw on Morrison Avenue is simply to take the top layer of the asphalt off and allow the contractors to come in and do the paving, which they're very good at. Take a look right here. In this area that you see in green, and this area that you see in green, And this little area you see in green is the amount of work we've done on this demonstration project in 30 days, 3+ miles.
I think it's a great idea.
It's working, just let us.
Wonderful experiment.
Let us run with it.
Very good
We
idea.
approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Arroyo. Seconded by Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Item 18.
Item 18, consideration and action to award a contract for concession services agreement for the City of Brownsville facilities.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, at the request of our city manager, Mr. Kabler, the purchasing department solicited formal sealed proposals for this project. It's the intent of the city to consolidate vending machine services with one primary contractor for vending machines located in city-owned facilities. As specified in our request for proposals, the concessionaire will be given the right and obligation as the prime operator to operate and manage the vending services throughout city facilities as located in Exhibit 1. This right shall include the right to sell certain snacks and beverages as permitted as set forth in the proposed schedule of products and as approved by the purchasing contracting director. As a prime operator, the selected concessionaire shall be required to install and operate vending services for facilities owned and operated by the City of Brownsville. The awarded concessionaire shall be responsible for the upkeep, maintenance of all machines, stocking of machines on a timely basis, receipts collection, revenue reporting, and refunds of lost monies to patrons. And in our solicitation, we received 2 proposals. The proposals were submitted to the Evaluation Committee. The Evaluation Committee members were Ray Ariano from Parks and Recreation, Norma Zamora from Bus, Lupe Granado, our Assistant Finance Director, and Carlos Garcia, the Police Chief. Those folks were chosen because those departments do the preponderance of the vending machine business in the city. The committee was asked to evaluate the proposals that were received. Purchasing staff conducted an analysis of the proposal received from Valley Coca-Cola Bottling Company, which was the highest ranked firm by the evaluation committee, determined it to be comprehensive, containing high potential revenue to the city of Brownsville based upon a 20% net commission rate schedule, which is higher than the city has ever received in the past. The other,
Real quick, Paul, real quick. Who had it before this?
It has been through a variety of firms. The last soda contract was with, not a contract, but permission to operate on city property was with Coastal Vending.
Who's Coastal Vending? Where?
Coastal Vending is owned and operated by former Commissioner Ernie Hernandez.
Ernie Hernandez? And
Commissioner, is that a question you didn't know?
Huh?
Is that a question you just didn't know?
I didn't know.
And actually, that permission was granted when the gentleman was not a commissioner. It just carried forward once he was elected.
How are we going to confirm, our 20%?
Coca-Cola obviously is a large company. We have compared their submission to other cities and government entities. They have the preponderance of contracts in the valley with schools, with local governments, with county governments, and no entities have reported any shortcomings in the machine.
Mayor, we deal directly with them through our sponsorship at Porter High School, and trust me, Coca-Cola's right on top of everything.
And what was the percentage before?
10.
10%. So we're getting a good deal now.
Yes. Now,
Mr. Calapa.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead. You can finish.
I simply was going to say that one other proposal that we received from a nonprofit offered to pay us a flat rate of $20 per month per machine. We have machines that will generate several $100s per month, so it's just an economic decision, and we feel that these folks will do a good job.
This is an action item?
I'm sorry, one question. Is
Go
this
ahead,
just drinks, or is this, vending, snacks? That's
Everything.
Everything.
This will be everything. We did not receive, I'm glad you brought that up, we did not receive any firms that sell snacks only. None of them responded to our request for proposals, although we had mentioned in there that we could go either way. We could do either all snacks or all sodas. Okay. So we are either going to have to go out again and look for snack vendors, or we're going to work with Coca-Cola to sub that out through
They can do that.
company.
Okay. This is an action item?
So move.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Longoria, seconded by Commissioner Nettles. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 19.
Item 19, consideration and action to award a contract for stormwater treatment improvements for the Garden Park Storm Sewer Project.
Honorable Mayor and Commissioners, at the request of our Planning and Community Development Director, Ben Medina, and our Engineering Director, Carlos Lastra, Purchasing Department solicited formal sealed bids for this project. These bids were opened on March the 21st. A total of 4 bids were received, tabulated by the project consulting engineer, John Clint, with Ambiotech. The recommendation of the consulting engineer as well as staff is to award this contract for stormwater treatment improvements for the Garden Park Storm Sewer Project to Jose Ibarra Construction, which is a local firm. They were the low responsive bid. Their total base bid was $435,715. We're requesting the issuance also of the additive alternate of $31,945 for some concrete abutments, bringing the total to $467,660, which is well under the engineer's estimate.
Yeah,
on
it
this.
says here on the next line, I didn't understand, it says the cost estimate is $479, which is $86,000 higher than the recommended bid. That's just that's a mistake.
I did the math on that as well. What happened is that the estimate is $479,540.
So it's $12,000.
Which is the base bid of $75,000 plus the ad alternate. So really, the engineer's estimate, including the ad alternate, is $554,540.
Oh,
That's
and
the number.
That's at $86,000.
That's the number,
Okay.
yes, so.
All right, this is an action item.
Would approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Camarillo, seconded by Commissioner Arroyo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 20.
Item 20, consideration and action to approve an advanced funding agreement with the Texas Department of Transportation for the installation of a traffic signal at the intersection of FM 511 and Charmaine Lane.
Mayor and Commissioners, I'm here tonight to pay for our part for the $24,400 for the Charmaine 511 signal. TxDOT and made all the traffic warrants, and I recommend approval.
So move.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Longoria,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 21.
Item 21, consideration and action to approve an advanced funding agreement with the Texas Department of Transportation for the installation of a traffic signal at the intersection of FM 3248 and Lakeway Drive.
Once again, Commissioner, Mayors, I'm here tonight to approve this Lakeway and Alton Glore. We have the funding to improve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Arroyo.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. No public comment?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Robert. This meeting is adjourned.